Welcome to a beginner's tips and tricks. Now, if you're going to look at me and be like, oh, you already did the complete guide and the beginner's guide, why are you doing this? This is a little different. This isn't necessarily how to Warframe. This is how to mod in Warframe and how to properly do it. Mainly because I don't like it when noobs go to overframe and then they get I'll say overstimulated by all the mods, right? So I'm going to essentially be breaking down modding from the top down for a noob. We're going to start with the Warframe, then we'll go to primary, secondary, melee, Parazon, and we're just going to work our way through everything. We're not going to touch heavy weapons because that'll go with our guns. And we're not going to be touching the operator or drifter just because I don't think it matters. They have arcanes, not mods. But with that being said, we're going to be using Kome, the Hagasa, the Tenet Cycron, the Pennant, my little Helmuth Charger, and the Helmuth Claws, and the Elytron Kuva Grattler, because us has bases. Or bases? Bases? Base? Yeah, you get the point. So we're going to start with Kome, right? Now, first things first, don't Forma or Organ Catalyst your Warframes. Not when you're brand new. Most of the Warframes that you'll be getting when you're early and on the game have primes. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to throw on expensive stuff, because if you throw on expensive stuff, then the prime's going to drop or be dropping, or you'll be unlocking the prime soon. Like with Frost Prime, Valkyr Prime, Octavia, Neza. You know, we have all these prime Warframes who are out already, so you shouldn't be spending many of your hard-earned resources on the normal version. Now, there are some exceptions. Kome, for example, just came out. The Hagasa just came out. If you don't know if it has a prime or not, Google it. And if it shows, oh, wow, there's no prime of it, and it doesn't seem like the prime's coming out anytime soon, that's when you throw in some Formas, some working catalysts, right? And we'll be touching on Aura, the polarities, and all that jazz, okay? I'm going to be walking you through every little step so you can understand it, because, frankly, I don't like the slop that the big YouTubers bring out with Warframe, because they don't really help new players. Shit, they don't really help players. Most of them are wrong. A lot of people have a very negative opinion on Kome because, oh, her 2's awful. Her 1. If I want to spread viral, just play Saren. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? No, that's not how. That's her gimmick is her decrees, and it makes it where endless game modes are easy. That's her whole thing. Her Omamori charms. Give her invincibility. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. So let's talk about it. Not the Warframe modding. So you have your health, shield, armor, energy, sprint speed, which are your Warframe stats. Then you have your ability stats, which are duration, efficiency, range, strength. Now, let's use Kumahimo for an example, right? If we go and type in strength, here's all the mods that affect strength. And yes, this is a way that you can do it. Or if you know the mod, like, if I wanted Augur Reach for more range, I can type in Augur Reach, or I can just type in Augur, and then I get the Augur mod. So I don't recommend doing that, because when you may not know what the mods are, but if you know, oh shit, hey, I need strength, you can type in strength, and you can get your strength mods. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to, just for an example, do this, throw on Umbral, or throw on all 3 Umbral mods, just for an example. Like I'm saying, just for an example. 260% strength. It goes for my damage is 65 times whatever my dice roll is. And for those of you who don't know, Kome rolls 6 dice with 6 pips on it. Each dice can roll a 1 to 6. So it's that damage multiplied by 65. So 30 times 65 is the most that you get out of it. This, now I have less efficiency because of Blind Rage. So my Omikuji's 75 drain. My Omamori is 112.5, but my heal multiplier is 2.6. My Bunraku is 150 instead of 100, and I have, more damage on it. If we do, say, range, and we just cap out range here, now my, Kumihimo has 79 meters of range, 39 meters of thread length, but I have less damage because I can run overextended. Doesn't affect Omikuji. Omamori now has lesser heal multiplier, and Bunraku now has stupid range, but it doesn't deal any damage. If you wanted efficiency for some reason, you can do that. And fleeting, this is the max that you'll get is 175. So now everything's 25, 18.75, 12.5, 6.25. Going this hard on efficiency is normally not needed. I'm gonna be real with you. Streamline normally does the job. Okay? If I wanted duration for some reason on Kome, I could just go all in on duration, prime continuity and all that jazz. Kumihimo does get affected by duration, so I'll show you my main build when we're done on each of these so you can see how I decide to build it. The Omikuji doesn't get affected again. Nothing affects the Omikuji. Omamori, nothing gets affected. Bunraku, they get stunned for longer. Right? Now, if you noticed, I typed in duration. The fuck is catalyzing shields? Why is that there? Full shield gate immunity duration. Why would I want less max shield? That's a wonderful question. Essentially what the shield gating is when all of your shield is gone, you get 1.1 seconds of invulnerability. With catalyzing shields, you get 3 seconds of full shield gate immunity duration. So if you have a way to regenerate your shields quicker, like a mod like the Augur set, where a percentage of energy is converted to shields, or the Greek Respite mod, where on ability cast, squad converts 150% of energy spent to shields while lower shields are active, it tends to work out just dandy. And so you have what is essentially a shield gate build. Some players like using shield gate for tankiness, and I will be showing you how I deal with my tankiness on my Kome when we are done with explanations. As you can see, we have these little funky symbols up here, right? Now, we'll use Archon Flow for this example. Archon Flow, while it's not in that little Neramon symbol, the little straight line, is 16 cost. My capacity goes down by 16. I throw it in, now it's 8. I throw it in the wrong one, now it's 20. That's the difference. Right? Now, that's how polarities work. Now, what the hell is this weird squiggly polarity? Oh, Dreamer's Bond must fit in there. Okay, yeah. Well, that squiggly polarity is universal, which means any mod I throw in will work and have the effectiveness as if it's the correct polarity. So that's how that works. This is your Exilus mod slot. You have specific Exilus mods. I would recommend keeping this clear for the most part, or throwing on this Vazarin, that's one, Vazarin on it for sure-footed and prime sure-footed, as one of the biggest ways you will die is by falling on your ass and getting shot. I'm going to be real with you. I'm still waiting for prime sure-footed. I believe it is a day 200, 400, 600 reward. And so that explains the majority of modding. Armor slowly gets weaker as you get more of it. Energy is, of course, energy used on abilities. Shield is shield. Take, or shields reduce damage by 50%, all damage types. Toxin goes right through. And, of course, your health is modified by your armor. Now, what are these empty Archon slots? That's a wonderful question. Archons, Arcanes, not Archon slots. The fuck am I talking about? Arcanes are little bonuses that you can have on your Warframe to make them a little stronger. Me personally, I occasionally and mainly run Arcane Blessing and Augmented, and I believe that's the same for my main build, for my Kome. And that goes for most of my Warframes, other than Frost, who has Arcane Ice Storm for 40%, instead of the 60 that Bolt Augmented gets because I get extra duration as well. So with that being said, my main build for Kome is this. I have Corrosive Projection, that gets changed out depending on the mission, Primed Continuity, Augur Secrets, Augur Reach, Archon Flow, Stretch, Intensify, Streamline, and Adaptation, giving me a very universal positive outlook on it. Now I do this because Omamori is very powerful and my strength is really 214 because I have Augmented on, and my health is actually like 1,500 because I have Arcane Blessing on, and I have 669 armor, which is not the normal amount, and we will be going over that right after I explain this. As you can see, I have it to where my Warframe is not fully kitted out for those experienced. If you're showing this or watching this to send to your newbie buddy, leave a comment. If you are that newbie buddy that gets sent this, your friend cares a lot about you. He also may think that you're a dumbass. If you think that your buddy's a dumbass, you should probably tell him. But adaptation is where I get most of my tankiness from. Like I said earlier, this is where I get my tankiness from. Up to 90% damage resistance with Omamori heals me. Now, how do I have 669 armor? Fantastic question. Let's go jump over to that system, which isn't technically modding, but I'm going to throw it in because the Warframe's the only one that has it. We have the helmet and Archon shards. Health pickups give 30% energy. Energy gives 30% health. 5 health a second, which is actually kind of useless. I should probably change that. Gain 2 health. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Hardcore velocity, casting speed, and 225 bonus armor. I'm going to be removing that and probably throwing on this one to gain 2 health per enemy killed to blast for 450 more health because I think that'll be funny because Kome is capable of doing a lot of blast. But that is how I got more armor, is through Archon shards, which is something that you will not be unlocking until much later in the game. After the new war, you will be able to use Archon shards. You will probably need your buddy's help if you're watching this because your buddy sent it to you. If you just found this and you're new to Warframe, hi, come join the Discord and I'll help you instead. And I've also changed my mind. We're going to actually use the Dare Vandal as our primary example because I'm able to go over Incarnons as well. So, let's ignore that. As you can see, we have another Arcane slot, and the layout of it is much different. So, with our Arcanes, we have Primary Deadhead, Primary Dexterity, Exhilarate, Frostbite, Merciless. Fractalize, Reset, Primary Obstruct, and Primary Plated Rounds. I like to run Primary Frostbite personally for the extra crit damage, and of course, you don't need to run that if you don't like to run cold. But this is where we get to fun points. So, this first location. What probably gets thrown in there? Weird. What's that purple mod? This purple mod is what's called a Riven. Rivens are mods that are weapon specific, have their own dispositions, which change the multiplier of those numbers right there in those statuses. Of course, if you don't have a Riven, you don't get it. But I have a Riven, so I use it on my main build. But this isn't mainly about, that. What we're going to be going over is the different ways that statuses. Okay, sweet. Affect each other, right? So we're going to be using high voltage with Malignant Force, Rhyme rounds, and Thermite rounds as examples. So, with heat sets enemies on fire, causing them to panic, temporarily reduces their armor up to 50% with multiple stacks. Now, what if we did heat and electricity? Now it's radiation. Radiation causes enemies to attack everything nearby, including allies for a short duration. Confusion damage increases up to 550% with multiple stacks. But what if we did toxin? Gas damage. Gas produces gas clouds that deal damage to all enemies within a 3-meter radius. Well, what would cold do? Blast. Blast deals 30% of the base damage after 1.5 seconds as an explosion at 10 stacks or on death. Stacks deal their damage simultaneously to enemies within 5 meters while staggering them. Very, very effective. But what if we did cold and electricity? Magnetic increases shield damage up to 325% with multiple stacks and disables the target shield regeneration for a short duration. When shield or overguard breaks, deal electricity damage for 3% of that enemy's max shield or overguard per stack with a forced electricity proc. What if we did Toxin? Viral damage created by combining cold and toxin. Viral increases damage to health up to 325% with multiple stacks for a short duration. It doesn't work on the infested or the murmur as effectively. And yes, those damage efficiencies do work. And then what does just cold do? Cold slows enemies to move and attack slower for each stack and will completely freeze for 3 seconds upon reaching 10 stacks. Increases critical damage by 10% on the first stack with an additional 5%. This effect doubles when frozen. So what if we do electricity? Electricity chains between nearby enemies, temporarily applies a stun effect and deals damage over time. Electricity and Toxin is corrosive, which temporarily removes up to 80% of the target's armor value with multiple stacks. And if we just have Toxin allows damage to bypass enemy shields and deal damage directed to their health over a short duration. So, those are all the status effects. So, what would I do? Well, I'll just show you my build and explain why I did what I did. Of course, I have my ribbon on because crit chance, status chance, damage minus zoom is very wonderful. And then I have Prime Shred for extra fire rate and Punch Through. I enjoy Punch Through because when you punch through something, it goes through them and it is very effective. I have Galvanized Scope for the headshot crit chance and the bonus crit chance when aiming for 12 seconds stacks up to 5 times. So I'm effectively getting, 320% crit chance, which is a very high amount of crit. Galvanized Aptitude for the extra status chance and the direct damage per status effect affecting the target for 20 seconds, effectively being 80% damage, stacks up to 2 times. Galvanized Chamber for 80% multi-shot on kill, 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. So, then we have Malignant Force, High Voltage, and Rhyme Rounds, so I can have a little armor strip, and I have Cold. And then it also works with Primary Frostbite, which on Cold status effect, plus 3% crit damage, and 2.25 multi-shot, stacks up to 40 times. This isn't nearly always out. I enjoy having this build on. Do I recommend copying it? No, I do not. I actually don't really condone copying builds to begin with. I like it when people alter my build. So, if you see this and you see the Dara Vandal, why not alter it? But that leads us to Incarnons. Incarnons are a method of this game to make a little more dated weapons a little stronger, right? Incarnon form headshots, charge Incarnon transmutation, all fire transmutes. Switching back will expend any remaining charge. Fire high power beams and gain magnetic damage. What are those high power beams? Well, they're fucking railgun. It turns it into a railgun, essentially. And that is pretty baller. And then we have Crimson Overture or Paragon Essence, where you can either increase your damage by 6 and on kill 20% ammo efficiency, stacks up to 4 times, giving you 80% ammo efficiency, or you can increase base damage by 4 on status effect 5 fire rate for 5 seconds, stacks up to 6 times. I like the ammo efficiency because I like to just hold down the trigger and shoot. Granted, with that being said, if that's how I'm going to do it, I should probably do some extended volley for projectile speed. Increases base magazine capacity by 30%, plus 50% magazine reloaded when holstered. So you're able to reload while it's holstered. And then we have this. So this is quite the unique deal. Increase base crit chance by 14, increase base crit multiplier, increase base status chance by 14, or you increase your crit chance by 25 of current status chance up to 35. So essentially, it takes some of your status chance from what I understand. It takes some of your... No, it doesn't. It doesn't even take your status chance. It is literally just more status you have, more crit you have, which is pretty awesome. Every Incarnon has unique upgrades. It's just something you'll have to test out. Or, again, don't feel afraid to Google. But with that being said, let's take a look at pistols. Frankly, pistols are kind of the same. You have ribbons. This one's unupgraded. I still need to re-roll it and upgrade it. The only really big difference with pistols is you have different arcades. I'm getting tired of yawning. I'm gonna be real here. You have different arcanes, which actually end up helping you in the long run. I like running secondary encumber on most of my secondaries, as most of my secondaries, like my Cycron, have very high status chances with good damage. But you know how it is. The only real difference with how pistols work is you have different mods. However, if you notice, this is rank 40. My Dara Vandal's rank 30. How is my Tenet Cypron rank 40? It's a wonderful question. So, you have Tenet weapons, like these, where if you get 5 Forma on them, their rank is up to 40. Every Forma is 2 more levels above maximum. It's called overleveling. If you look here... Oh, wow. Oh, there it is. Overleveling increases this weapon's master rank by +2 with Forma up to 5 times for possible rank of 40. And it also goes for your Kuva weapons. The Kuva Seer, Kuva Nuke, or Kuva Barak, Kuva Karak, Kuva Brahma, Kuva Zobek, Kuva Seer, all that jazz. But that's your secondaries looked over. Realistically, you don't have to worry about your secondaries as much unless you play your Ellie. Yolux, Furby. And that is what it is. I enjoy my secondaries as a nice little priming weapon. However, now my Warframe is my primer. So, yeah. Anyways, then we have melees. I'm gonna be real here. I'm not good with melees. Oh, really? I'm getting tired of yawning. I guess that's how it goes, though. Stance mods work just like aura mods. You have it. Increases your total capacity. You have more combo-based stuff, because as you melee, you have combo. So, again, these mods are like kind of the same. It's really just modding pistols and rifles. You have your galvanized mods, and then you have your normal mods, and then prime mods. But you are now more focused on, or at least how I do it, I'm more focused on combo. As you can see, here's my main build: Wise Razor, Dreamer's Wrath, heavy attack efficiency, status damage, status chance, crit damage, crit chance with multiplier, a Riven, prime pressure, volcanic edge. Now, with that being said, I don't need pressure point anymore, so I can replace it because that Riven takes the place of pressure point, so I could do something like, say, Prime Fury or Quickening. But realistically, I'd rather do Prime Fury. But realistically, what I would go with is Condition Overload. Oh, hey, that actually fits. Wild. Sweet. Niqnoqqy is a system for melees. You have a chance to have a free melee hit with, or free heavy attack, where it doesn't drain your combo multiplier. Niqnoqqy is very powerful, especially on something like the Tenet, where heavy attack kills grant 50 attack speed for up to 46 seconds, scaling the combo count. It is a very powerful method. Parazon modding is pretty simple. You have your Kuva or your Requiem mods, and then you just have your mods. It's pretty basic. You have 6 mod slots. These 3 will have to be in the right order to defeat a Kuva Lich or Sister of Parvos, but this isn't a guide on that. If you're curious about that, check out my complete guide, and I go over how to beat Kuva Liches and Sisters of Parvos. But now we have the big one and the new one, pets. You have 2 ways of building your pets. You can either have it be for resources, or you can have it be an absolute unit of an enemy, where it's able to kill every single enemy in a single room without really caring. Mine is both. Both is good. I can't really explain pet modding. I kind of just throw things on. I like the bonds. Armor strip. I have 3 clones that spawn. Killing X-miss enemies grants 120% bonus of a random elemental damage. When your companion kills an enemy afflicted with a status chance effect, 50% of that status effect spreads to another enemy within 9 meters. Loyal Retriever, 13% chance to double credit resources, extra health, brushes an enemy dealing damage. Really doesn't. This mod sucks, but it doesn't cost anything. This mod's better. You know, fetch where it auto gathers mods. Your claws, plus damage, plus crit chance, plus crit damage, plus toxin, plus status chance, but all elemental damage from claws are converted to toxin, so I can only deal toxin damage. 60% melee damage per status affecting the target. Non-critical hits deal 240% damage. 30% primary critical chance added to companion. 245% melee damage converts all base physical damage to slash. You know, it's pretty simple. The main way to get the pet mods and whatnot is through conservation, which is in the overworld or the open world, where you will have to save animals and get tags, and you trade those tags for the mods. Then we have Archwing, which, as you can tell, I don't really have any Archwing mods. Fucking funky. Don't worry too much about Archwing. It doesn't matter much. Get some HP, get some armor. That's really all you need. Right? You don't need anything else. Get some HP, get some armor, and you'll be fine. For your Kuva, for your, Archwings, that's a little different. Alright, I'm gonna be real with you. I like my arc gun. As you can tell, I even have a ribbon for it. That's pretty okay. But it's just like modding your primary, except you have things like, where is it? Ammo chain, ammo maximum, magazine capacity, and then charge rate, because when you're in space, it doesn't have reload. It has infinite ammo and it charges. Again, melees, it's just more melee mods. You have, things like extend where you fly farther. Oh, nope. Okay. And it's good. The Bone Widow's like modding your Warframe. You have the same rough mods, except you have, 12 slots now. Instead of, the normal 8? Yeah. You have 4 extra slots on your Bone Widow. Because they're meant to be super tanky, but they're really not. Like, they're not. It's a shame. But they're not. And then, like, the Arc Exalted Weapon, same thing. It's just a melee weapon. Just a melee weapon. So, that's pretty much everything you need to know about modding in Warframe. Fuck K drives. We're not talking about K drives. Moral of the story, don't worry about the meta. Alright? If there's a weapon you like, look into it. I don't recommend looking up at builds. I would, ask your buddy. Ask your friends if they have it. Or, hell, hop into the Discord, ask me, hey, how would I build this? And I'll help you put together a build. Because a lot of these bigger YouTubers share the same exact build, same exact build philosophy, fucking same shit every single goddamn time. There's no uniqueness. There's no personality to it. But hey, I guess that's how it is. When everybody wants to one-shot everything, everybody kind of starts looking the same. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that jazz. Maybe even become a member if you want to support the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces, boys. Have a good one.